We are scheduled for 3 rounds in the World Series of Fighting welterweight division. And now, introducing on my right, fighting out of the blue corner, his record 9 victories versus 7 defeats, 4 wins coming by way of knockout, 1 by submission. Standing 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing 170 pounds, fighting out of Wareham, Massachusetts by way of Plymouth, Massachusetts. Tonight, he makes his debut in the World Series of Fighting Decagon. Introduction, the Surgeon, Chip Moraza-Pollard. And now his opponent on my left, fighting out of the red corner, his record 5 victories, 2 defeats, all 5 wins coming by way of submission. Standing 6 feet and 1 inch tall, weighing 170 pounds, fighting out of South Glens Falls, New York, presenting Matt Secor. Your referee is Kevin Mulhall.
So here we go in the welterweight division. It will be Matt Secor taking on Chip Moraza-Pollard. We will see if the surgeon is ready for this one.
I'll tell you what, Moraza-Pollard's got a 6.5 inch reach advantage.
Let's keep an eye on that reach going the way of Moraza-Pollard. And we are underway here in Mashantucket, Connecticut.
But with that 6.5 reach advantage, when you tell me your jab is your go-to weapon,
right,
and I hear you've got a 6.5 reach advantage, man, I think you're gonna have a good night with that weapon.
Yeah, no question about it. Is there any way to offset a reach advantage like that? I mean, do you get in the inside, you get it to the ground and take it away?
Timing. Timing beats speed, timing beats length. If you can time your opponent, you have to control the space between you. Control the space between you and the time it takes to close that, you control the fight. When you got a guy who's longer and stronger, you got to create some extra space, get him to overcommit on that, and that way you can capitalize on his mistake.
I'm going to take it one step further. If you're Matt Secor and you've got a rangy fighter like Moraza-Pollard, where are your eyes focused on right now if you're Secor? Because he's moving his hands up and down, he's got side-to-side movement, the head's bobbing.
You know what? I always like to stay focused on that chest, but I'm not staring at the chest. That's my focal point, and from there I can see the feet, I can see the hands, I can see the head movement. Right. I can kind of gauge the rhythm and the way the fighter moves.
So it's Secor in the blue trunks, Moraza-Pollard in the multicolored tight trunks.
And Secor telling me that, you know, it's not just his boxing that's improved, that he's wanted to improve, but being comfortable on his feet, being comfortable boxing. And I think right now he looks pretty comfortable.
Let's go, guys. Let's
No question about it. Secor is keeping a nice tight pocket, hands close together. Moraza-Pollard dancing around looking for an opening, try to use that jab, and you see him switching over from southpaw to regular. And it's Secor coming forward trying to land a combination.
I think Secor will have a lot of success if he gets Moraza-Pollard to overcommit with that jab, and he can time that. Once that guy overcommits, he's in perfect range for you to change levels and hit that takedown. So keep a little distance, make him overcommit on that jab, and there's that lead leg, there's that single leg transition to a double, but your whole wrestling game will open up if he overcommits and closes too much distance.
Both fighters respecting the speed of the other. Nice kick coming from Moraza-Pollard, comes back with another one, no harm done, and a big snap off by Secor. Pollard able to block that.
But I'll tell you what, Pollard is doing exactly what he said he was going to do. He said he's going to come out with his jab, he's going to find his range, he's going to stick and move for a while. Once he gets that distance, he's going to start implementing his kicking attack, and you see him doing just that. Now, there's a lot riding on this fight tonight for Matt Secor. He comes from a small town in New York, South Glen Falls, and he said in the last few weeks, their town lost 3 people, 3 very important friends, close friends, and it's a small town. 3 people in a few weeks died, and he said he really feels like he's in there tonight fighting for them. He's doing it for them. He's doing it for the whole town, because the whole town rallied behind these 3 people who passed away. So he's not just fighting for the win. He's not just fighting for the paycheck. He's fighting for his town and for the loss of his memories.
And our condolences going out to those families affected. South Glen Falls, New York, a small suburb just outside of Albany, New York. And Matt Secor right now with a dominant position, but Chip Moraza-Pollard staying very calm.
Great pass.
Boy, this is a nice way to get. This is a nice way to get the reach advantage gone.
Yeah, that's that Jake Shields pass right there.
Yeah.
He just cleared that leg right out, passed straight into Mount. This is the last place on earth Pollard wants to be right now.
So Chip Moraza-Pollard, the striker with all kinds of great jiu-jitsu right now, finds himself mounted by Matt Secor. But is Secor doing enough with what he's got right now? Is he taking too much time?
You know, he's playing the jits game. And that's the thing, in MMA versus competition jiu-jitsu, it's tough.
There it is.
You can't just run in and try to go for a submission. You have to set the submission up. And in mixed martial arts, the setup to your submission is your strikes. So once he's done what he's done right here, which is to secure the position, I'd like to see him advance a little more, but open up with some strikes just like that, and there he is. Then he's going to give you something, just like he gave him the neck or the back. But it's those strikes that are going to give you that next opportunity, that next opening to either advance your position or go for a submission.
45 seconds to go in round number 1. Matt Secor in the dominant position, and Chip Moraza-Pollard right now almost using the cage and the angle to deflect some of those punches coming from Secor.
This is a horrible position to be in. If you see that Secor's got his arm under the back of Pollard, but he's trapped the right arm. And so right now, if he can get his head under the other arm of Pollard, he can just rain that right hand, just punch freely on him. Good escape.
Looking for the fishing for the heel hook. It goes away. And now it's Chip Moraza-Pollard coming forward. Secor with an up kick.
And that's always that problem when you sit back for those heel hooks. It's a high reward, but a high risk situation, because if you don't get it, you're going to end up on your back with your opponent on top of you.
Very explosive first round in the welterweight division. Matt Secor, very strong in the latter part of that first round. Let's look at this one more time. And how about these punches coming in the last 30 seconds?
And that's that position. You see Secor's got his outside arm tied up, and he's just able to punch away right there and just.
And this is how the round ended. It looked like for a moment there that Moraza-Pollard was going to pull off the heel hook.
He sat back on, and you know what it was? It was actually Pollard went for it first. Secor had the better position, so he decided to go for it as well.
Yep.
But by doing so, he gave up his position and ended up on bottom.
So Chip Moraza-Pollard on the right side of your screen. You see the damage done. You didn't see exactly what that was from the punch during the time on the ground, or that up kick that Secor launched to end round number 1 as we get set for round number 2. Here we go, second round from Mashantucket, Connecticut, World Series of Fighting 20. Todd Harris, Joey Varner, and it looks like Chip Moraza-Pollard receiving some instruction from his corner. If you're in his corner of Moraza-Pollard, what are you telling your fighter?
Use that range. The only way Secor's going to take it down is he closed that distance. You've got a 6.5-inch reach advantage. Punish him every time he tries to close the distance. Pump long, straight jabs. Use that to set up your cross. Use that to set up your kicks. But control that distance and use it with your punches.
Boy, you see the right eye of Moraza-Pollard really swelling up. If you're Matt Secor, what's your attack?
Touch that eye, touch that eye, touch that eye, feint high, go low for that takedown. Put him back on the mat. That's where he has the success. He's got 5 victories, all 5 by way of submission. That's his blueprint to success in this fight.
So here we go with just over 4 minutes to go in round number 2. This one's scheduled for 3. Matt Secor in the blue trunks, Chip Moraza-Pollard in the black, orange, and yellow.
He tried that boss route and left hook to the liver there. Didn't quite land it, but he tried it. What I would like to see more from Pollard is that jab.
Yeah.
He's active with his hands. He's throwing long hooks, long crosses, but he's not committing on that jab. He's got so much more range. In order to do that, you got to push hard on that back foot when you throw that jab.
Boy, those low kicks from Moraza-Pollard really finding the spot on Secor's thigh, a la Jose Aldo, as he snapped about 4 of those off here just in round 2.
And that's staying there. Oh, beautifully timed. Beautifully timed. He waited for that overhand right. He changed levels and got him right to the mat.
So Secor times it perfectly, takes Joey Varner's advice, ducks underneath, and gets a beautifully timed takedown of Chip Moraza-Pollard. Now, the question is, can Secor do the same damage he did in round number 1 here in round number 2? And he's going to start things off by tenderizing those thighs with those big knees.
He's in a great position. You know, there's not a lot right now that Pollard can do to escape from this, you know. Right now, Pollard needs to figure out a way to get his hips out from under him, get his hips up against the cage. But on the other side of his back is Secor's legs. So he's kind of trapped him. He's pinned him. If he can get his head under the arm just like that, and you see how he's got his Pollard's bottom arm trapped,
right.
That's a nasty position. Now he transitions to mount. But from that position, you really got free shots. It's free reign at the guy's face.
And this time, Chip Moraza-Pollard trying to control the head of Matt Secor. We saw in round number 1, Secor posturing up and then coming down with a flurry, firing off 4 or 5 punches.
What I'd like to see Secor do is give Pollard a little space to kind of get back to his feet, because what Pollard's going to do is he's going to post out with that right hand. And when he posts out with that right hand, Secor will have that opportunity again to reach behind him, trap that wrist, pull it down, and then you've just got that free range shot like he had in the last round where he can just pound away at that face, and that's a great position to get the referee to stop the fight.
Chest slam, chest slam, chest slam. There you go, chest slam, open up space, and give me some action.
You want to keep that position.
And you hear Secor's corner right now. They're coaching their fighter. They're saying, we want to see chest slams. Pick them up and slam with your chest. Once you slam with your chest, that's going to give you that opportunity to create more space to rain down with some bigger punches and elbows.
Chest slam, up, down, hut.
Keep him down. Come on.
There you go, grind, up, down, chest slam now. Using left arm, yep, good.
Listening into the corner of Matt Secor.
Good.
Moraza-Pollard firing off some lefts to the rib cage of Secor, not doing a lot of damage. You can see just how dominant that mount is.
You know what? In there, ooh, that was a little premature stoppage. Premature stand-up, but
Big advantage shifts. Got to go the way of Chip Moraza-Pollard as goes back to the feet.
now you see Pollard jumping up to his feet. He's attacking with a sense of urgency. Beautiful outside leg kick, but what I don't like about his sense of urgency is that he's almost reckless. Right there, those are the kind of situations where you get a little too reckless, you commit a little too hard, and next thing you know, you end up back on the mat again. But great sprawl. As I'm saying as I'm saying not to do it, he's just did 2 beautiful sprawls and stuffed each attempt of Matt Secor.
Secor rolling out of that one, coming up firing with a kick. As we approach 35 seconds to go, a slip there by Moraza-Pollard. He came through with a couple quick jabs, did not find points there. And now it's Secor, looks to be in control of this one. I totally agree with what you're saying about Chip Moraza-Pollard. Almost looks like he's desperate, looking for some points, but he snapped off a nice kick there.
Being aggressive, having a sense of urgency is great, but you got to be careful of one that starts borderlining recklessness, when you start making mistakes, because that's when you end up on your back. That's when you end up in a position where you don't want to be in. Little capoeira attempt there, huh?
And we will go to a 3rd and final round here in Connecticut.
I think Secor took the round, but what a great rally by Pollard, huh?
Oh, no question about it. It seemed like as soon as Kevin Mulhall stood him up there, he found new life for those last 1 minute and absolutely came forward on Secor. Now, as you pointed out, a little reckless there, but certainly got the attention of the judges. Let's look at this one more time. These are the waning moments of round number 2.
There's that. He tried that takedown, and beautiful stuff. Beautiful sprawl by Pollard. And I like it. He's staying busy while he's sprawling, hitting the side of the head. Secor tries to roll out. Pollard wants none of it, says, nope, let's get back to feet.
So the corner of Chip Moraza-Pollard going to work on underneath the right eye, trying to bring that swelling down. Matt Secor, what are you telling your fighter?
You need something big, brother. You're down on my scorecard. You're down 2 runs to none. This is where champions are made. This is where you got to dig deep down. You got to find a way to make it happen. You've had success with those outside leg kicks. Let's go heavy on those. Maybe use a feint for a leg kick and try to go upstairs. But you got to come up with something big right now if you want the win.
Third and final round here in the welterweight division from Foxwoods Resort Casino, and it is Chip Moraza-Pollard, the surgeon, coming out looking for points, looking for something big. Matt Secor initially on the defensive in the blue trunks. Those kicks have been working really well for Moraza-Pollard. Is that something you think that he could open up maybe a little more and then bring in the jab?
Absolutely.
He's just too hooked on the jab and ending the fight punching.
Well, you know what's even better is use the feint of the jab. If he's established the jab so well that if he does a good feint, and a good feint should look like a real punch is coming. But as Secor gets the takedown exactly where Pollard doesn't want to be.
You talked about it, Joey, at the top of this fight. Timing is everything, and that's how you negate a 6.5-inch reach. And Matt Secor has done it by some very well-timed takedowns.
Absolutely. And look, I'm going to look for him to clear this left leg and slide right back into mount.
And that has been a continuing theme throughout 3 rounds of this fight. Matt Secor in the blue and white trunks. He has got the mount in all 3 rounds, trying to make it happen here again. And Moraza-Pollard recognizing that, trying to lock up that leg.
And he's almost got that leg all the way over. He's working towards that mount. Just the foot remains. And there he is, full mount position for Secor.
Not really a big stats guy, but when you say that you're going to mount a guy all 3 times, in all 3 rounds, I'm going to put my money that you're probably going to get the win.
Right.
Wow.
Let's stay busy.
But I want to see him stay busy. He's done a great job of getting the mount, of securing the mount. But now let's see you work something here. Let's see you work some devastating ground and pound or set a submission up.
Boy, serious ground and pound going on.
In the fight game, it's not always about winning fights, it's about selling fights. And nothing sells a fight better than an exciting fighter. And right now, this is Matt Secor's opportunity to sell himself as a fighter by opening up, by doing some vicious ground and pound, just raining down some nasty elbows, leaving an impression not just in the judges, not just in his opponents, but in the fans at home. They say, Secor? Oh, that was the guy who hit that, opened up the nasty cut with that elbow. Those are the kind of fights that people remember. Those are the kind of fighters that people pay to see. And that's the way you go from a future champs card to the main card.
And no need to tell the fighters here in the future champs undercards that President Ray Sefo sitting cage side, Ali Abdulaziz, matchmaker sitting cage side. Be nice to impress those guys as well.
Absolutely. Right here, exactly. This is what I'm talking about.
Secor really winding up on that one. He is bringing the leather and the elbows as Chip Moraza-Pollard, the surgeon, in a world of hurt right now, trying to stay active. But, man, the dominant position, it gives you so many opportunities. Look at this. He's jumping right over the mount.
He just mounted again. And there he goes. He's looking for that head and arm choke. Looks like he's got it secured in.
Stretched it out.
Pollard is trying to defend. Now, Secor can finish it here. Some people have finished it here, but usually they have most success. If he can get that left leg over the side of the body, get parallel to him.
A little more leverage.
He'll have more leverage, but Pollard did a great job of defending correctly and escaping from this position.
Coming up on 90 seconds to go in this one, the 3rd and final round, the welterweight division from Mashantucket, Connecticut. This is World Series of Fighting 20 from the Grand Theater at the Foxwoods Resort Casino. And Matt Secor really has been dominant. Not overwhelming, but really dominant, getting the mount in all 3 rounds on Chip Moraza-Pollard.
It's almost like he big brothered. You know, your big brother who just kind of manhandles you.
Yep.
Just gets on top of you, holds you down, and flicks you in the ear. Just so you can't do anything, you can't get away. You just get off me.
Keep working. You're doing great. You're doing great.
Here's corner calling for him to keep working as we go under a minute to go in this fight.
Put it across his face. Put it across his face.
He's trying his hardest to set up that choke, but Pollard's doing a great job of preventing it and defending and recovering his guard.
Boy, he looked like he was going to go for side control and then just steps over to Secor and the mount once again.
Yeah, he really made that mount look easy. And those are the chest slams his corner's been calling for this whole fight. That's exactly what his corner was telling him. They said they want to use those chest slams, go to it a couple times. That's going to give you that ability to posture up. Once you're postured up, you can rain down some very damaging blows.
Secor weighed in at 170 pounds, clearly put on a few more pounds after the weigh-in, and that is a lot of force coming down on the body, face, head, and neck of Chip Moraza-Pollard as this one will go to the judges.
That's the way to end the fight, though. That's the way to leave an impression.
Well, Matt Secor certainly did not sit back and let this one just go to the judges. He made a serious statement. How about this?
Oh, not just one. Hold on. How about we do it again? And maybe one more to grow on.
And that is not a fighter that's just trying to get it to the finish line and get the victory. That is, like you said, Joey Varner, make a statement. There's the damage done under the right eye of Chip Moraza-Pollard. Looked good in his stand-up, but really, that reach never came into play.
You know what? It wasn't just the reach. it was the takedown defense coupled with when he was on bottom, he didn't have an answer to get back to his feet. He kind of got stuck on bottom. It wasn't exactly, his hips weren't moving. He wasn't using the cage to wall walk, get back to his feet. So back to the drawing board for Pollard, but big win for Secor here tonight.
And now with the official decision, we send it inside the cage, and Matt Secor.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of professional fighting, we will go to your judges' scorecards for your winner. Judge David Ginsburg and Doug Crosby scored 29-28, and Eric Colon scores at 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision, Matt Secor.
Dominant performance, unanimous decision for Secor. As we go back and take a look at some of the highlights, we'll start off in round number 1. Joey Varner, Secor came out and really looked strong, especially his takedowns.
His takedown game, not just his takedown games, but his guard passing. This guy went to mount, I think, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. You see him here, he's got the bottom arm trapped. He's raining down punches on the face of Pollard. Here again, later on in the round, the same position. He kept on going to this position. He secured it. It all came from that guard pass and his ability to once again go to mount. There we see him open him up with those devastating elbows, really trying to put an exclamation point. And here's the chest slams. Boom! I think it was 3 total. 1, 2, and 3 to grow on, baby. Very creative, very good way to end the fight. This is how Matt Secor keeps moving on, keeps getting fans to want to see him fight by finishing fights in an exciting fashion like he just did.
Yeah. Get ready. Listen. What you wanna do? If you don't strike first, that's when they gon' come at you. Yeah. And you know it's true. Don't let your life get worse. Being timid, that ain't cool. Nah.